Well, it hasn't got any warmer. This has got really chilly. But I've got Jim from RIO and Sage, or is it Sage and RIO?
Guide Flyfishing.
Or Guide Flyfishing, or
Sage, that's right, yeah.
Products that will scatter the world with beauty and wonder. But seriously, I've watched Jim cast. He hasn't got a double-handed rod with him today, and I wish he had, because if anyone really shows the ease of a double-handed rod, it's Jim. But he's pretty damn good with a single-handed rod too. And to help the whole thing along, I'm going to get the hell out of it. I'm going to pass you over to Jonathan.
Thank you, Charles. No doubt you're going to rush in and put the kettle on, I'm sure.
It's already on.
Already on. Right, nice to see you, Jim. Thanks for coming down.
Likewise.
Now, I am genuinely excited about this.
Good.
So what have you got to show us?
Well, today it's the new R8 core, Sage R8 core. A little bit on the technicalities, if you will, of the rod itself. R8 signifies the actual technology. Core is the name of the rod range. It's replacing the X, and it's Sage's newest flagship fast action multi-purpose range of single-handed rods. As said, R8 signifies the technology. R Revolution 8. This is 8 generations now that Sage have been going through the generations, ultimately perfecting performance. Within the rod itself, it's 2 new technologies, and for those Sage fans, this is the first time since generation 5 that Sage have used 2 technologies in the same rod.
Okay.
The first of the 2 technologies is a new fibre, which has a high modulus, higher than Sage normally use, as I understand it. And what's unique about this high modulus fibre, high modulus stiffer material basically, what's unique about this material is that it's got a durability normally associated with more of a medium modulus.
Okay.
And what Sage have done is being able to push this higher modulus higher up the rod into the sections that ultimately need to bend for when we cast and feel and everything else. Now, interestingly, in tests against Kinetic HD, previous to the R8, the rod itself has given a 6% increase in strength and a 10% increase on the actual modulus. And that, from a rod designer's point of view, I mean, incidentally, I'm just the guy that casts and fishes them. I mean, I feel already out of my zone talking like I'm talking. But that's very much a trade-off, because the higher modulus, stiffer material that they generally use, these things become more brittle. So to get the rod with a high modulus in the higher
more
sections,
strength.
absolutely, and more strength. The second part of the technology is a new hoop fibre. The hoop basically is what stops the rod from ovalizing when the rod is flexed. This is again of a high modulus fibre.
So I mean, what you mean by that is if you look cross-sectionally at a, you know, down a blank itself, you're talking about that when it's
exactly
it's under compression.
Exactly that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just staying more true and round instead of compressing and overly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Brilliant. This material within the hoop fibre to stop it ovalizing, as you say, again in tests has given a 7% increase in strength to weight ratio. I mean, what all this means ultimately for the fishermen is that, you know, sweet spots have been shifted. There's a genuine high performing rod, but with a feel that certainly I haven't cast with a rod of this ilk. It really is an enhanced feel with it. Now, one of the things the thing I would like to do today is to compare. I mean, I'm sure that many people watching, Sage fans, want to know what the difference is between this rod and the rod that it's replacing, the Sage X, you know, already a great rod. So the little bit of an experiment, if you can call it that, I've got the X590, 9'5" weight, 590 in Sage speak, as well as the R8 core, 9'5" weight, exactly the same reel, Spectrum LT, and exactly the same line, RIO Gold, Elite
line.
Gold, absolutely, something that, you know, you would feel that you maybe want to use today. And we're going to look at the rod at different ranges, short range, medium, long range, and give our feedback I did this experiment with someone a few days ago, great caster, and well, I don't really want to say too much, because one thing that I was really pleased to hear about, that JT has resisted casting this rod.
I've picked it up.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of the shop waggle
The
there,
old fly shop wiggle. Yeah.
but I haven't put a line through it. I knew we were going to do this weekend. I was genuinely interested to see how this was going to compare with the X.
Yeah.
You know, the X replaced the One. I was a massive fan of the One.
Yeah.
And every time you're sort of seeing that progression, and I'm just really dying to see what the progression is on this. First impressions in the hand, it feels lovely. Now with a line through, we'll see what we think with the old X. We'll see what we think now with the R8 and see where the improvements are. So
brilliant.
I'll just grab the X. We'll have a quick flick with that.
I agree. I think we both get into
refresher.
We get into the X zone.
A refresher. So I mean, when the X came out, obviously it was replacing the
One.
Replacing the One, which was a massive sort of winner with customers. We move that way. It came out and it immediately people loved it. They picked it up. You know, they enjoyed the feel of it, how crisp it was.
We were talking about this earlier, weren't we? It's I mean, we did a very similar test comparison. It's obviously an idea that's come from Sage itself. You know, when they introduced the rod to the dealers, they put it side by side to give people, you know, really what is the difference. And as I remember, the difference from the X to the One, a little bit faster, a little bit lighter.
Definitely lighter in the X to the One, slimmer in the blank. That was one of the things you noticed straight away. Probably a little bit more feel and feedback. More finesse, I think, is probably as good a way to put it as anything else. But you know, the 9 for a 5 in the X was one of the real peaches. It stood out to me to be a great one, and it's been a little while since I've cast one, and it's everything I remember. You know, a lovely, and we use this phrase far too often, it's a lovely fishing rod. You know, short range, medium range, long range, it will do it all, and it does it effortlessly.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. It's and I like the way with the R8 as well, you know, there's a real emphasis on the fishing side of it, as well as the enhanced feel from casting, also from fishing as well.
Now that's lovely.
That's beautiful,
that's
isn't
lovely.
it? Let's just get into that same zone as JT's in.
So,
I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, when you first pick up the X at this, you know, what RIO would say the trouty 20 feet.
Yeah.
Which I think it's fantastic actually that they put the colour change right there anyway. As most river fishers would agree that most of the ranges are about there. And we were speaking about this a little bit earlier, weren't we? It seems to be a distance of line that most people seem to overlook in the quest for getting more distance. It's simply throwing it all back really quick.
But you've seen it, I've seen it. You know, we've done enough shows here. People come up, let's try this new rod. The first thing they do is they pull off a whole lot of line. And as you say, they forget about that short range, you know, in a fishing situation.
I'm a firm believer, I mean, I think hopefully it might open it up nicely with the R8, but this almost fishing for tension from the word go. If you can capture that tension on that first 20 feet, on that first lift, the rest of the casting cycle becomes so much easier as a result. I'll let you take over from there, and I'd be really genuinely interested on your findings.
So first thing I notice, it's lighter in the hand. You can feel that. The balance is probably more even. You'd say that was probably a little bit more to the front.
Yeah.
It's so light, you hardly feel like you're doing anything. But the thing that I really noticed from the off is that recovery.
Yeah.
There is no bounce.
No.
Not only does it go from compressed to straight again so fast, but there is no wobble.
No.
Absolutely none whatsoever. It is back from compressed to straight again and no bounce. It is fantastic.
I'll be honest, initially in preparing for today actually, you know, I mean, the words like high modulus with stiffness in carbon, obviously that is, you know, I understand it more now that they've been able to slim the blank down and give it more feel. But it really does make sense, doesn't it, when you...
It just that slimness of blank, you can feel it. We've got a windy day today.
Yeah, yeah.
You can feel it cutting through the air that little bit easier than with a slightly thicker blank.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, that is just lovely. But there's not a single bounce in that leg.
No.
It's just
No,
needles.
The tip's really recovering fast.
It's just ridiculous.
I was going to talk about this in the second presentation, but I'm a fan of high stops. Now I appreciate, loops are very much situation dependent. Sometimes we need open loops, more drag, all the rest of it, less drag. But in a lot of situations, having a rod that can recover so fast, beautiful.
It's just effortless and accurate as well.
Yeah.
But at no point, one thing I'm not feeling I have to give it beans.
No.
It's a nice smooth stroke, and just define that stop, because we talk about higher modulus of carbon.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still flexing. I can feel the rod bending.
This is it, and again, but there's no compromise to the backbone, is there? This is the thing. It's got a slightly steely feel to it, even though it's flexing down to the hand. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling it down here.
Yeah,
you're feeling that extra bit of load coming in through the handle.
Yeah,
and that is just
sweet.
Needle tight loops, just with a nice stop, but you're not getting that bounce coming through the tip.
No, I was listening to the rod designer, Peter Knox, actually, and he described it really nice that, fast action rods can be a bit jumpy.
Yeah.
Feeling that they're not necessarily coming out the hand, but there's a jumpiness to them. So extending more into that medium range now.
And it's not feeling at any point yet that it's struggling.
No.
It feels the same as it did at 20 feet.
Keep that in mind there, JT, and just go back to the X on that medium range. There you go, mate.
So we'll just go a little bit further into the colour change. Just feel... straight away you feel that difference.
Yeah.
You feel like it's got that slightly more... Just having to give it a little bit more beans in the stroke.
Nice.
A little bit more beans in the stroke.
Yeah.
But you're feeling that rod it's lost its crispness in comparison.
You think?
Yeah. You feel that extra bit of load a little bit further down.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Let's have a shot at that range.
That's still a stunner.
This is the thing, isn't it? I mean, how can they improve?
You're back, what, 4 years, 5 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, that feels slightly heavier in the hand there than this does.
It does. Yeah, I agree.
It's flexing that.
I agree. From a flex point of view, also, yeah, I can feel the tip, obviously. I mean, we're still talking about a really great rod, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because that one set. This is more like the presentations I like, just basically having a cast. Oh, yeah. So much lighter feel, isn't there?
This seems to go under a lot more.
Yeah.
More. Do you feel the weight coming on in the load?
The thing I noticed the other day was when I made the shot and I looked back and being like, almost sounds cheesy, but a smile at the loop shapes I was seeing. Go for it, mate.
All right. I'm glad I waited. I am glad I waited.
Sweet, mate.
It's just...
And this is a strong wind behind.
It is a strong wind.
It needs every bit of a fast, tight loop going backwards.
I don't know how much of that you can pick up on how much this wind is, but...
It's going a bit. And them shapes at the back, awesome.
Just bounces straight through that wind, cutting straight through like a hot knife through butter. And that is lovely.
Beautiful, mate. What I would like, just to finish on, there's one more rod I'd like you to try. I appreciate that this is totally your bag, the Stillwater. Oh, no, that rod's mine. It's the 9'6" weight,
Yeah.
with a Fathom Sync 3 on.
Now I'm a big fan of a 9'6" weight. In fact, I used to be an owner of a 9'6" weight.
Okay.
And I loved it because it would handle my sinking lines, but from a dry fiber nymphing work, it was had a bit more finesse. So I'm looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Bear with me 1 second.
That's impressive. But I suppose it's one of those things we've come to notice really with Sage is when you, as Jim's saying, you know, how are they going to improve it? Well, it's been 5 years since the last incarnation, so you do really notice the jumps, don't you, Jim? When it's been 4 or 5 years since the last rod it's replacing.
Yeah.
It's in rod terms, 4 or 5 years is a long time.
Yeah,
technology advances, so.
So on this is the new Arbor XL. This is the size 456.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, ultra large arbor, 15% increase in retrieval rate. It's a narrow diameter spool. The idea being that that's easier to get a level lay with the.
That's,
with the
I mean, for a
line that it's on.
456, that is huge. Give you an idea. That's the whole of my palm.
It looks nice on the rod though, eh? It's again same features, SCS drag system, full 1 revolution for the drag knob, half size increments.
Yeah, so nice and easy. You can just set it wherever you want. If you know you like a 6 or a 5, then you can just easily change that one.
I remember when I first seen that because I use it on my salmon reel Spectrum Max.
It's important to have that for the
It
salmon,
is absolutely,
so
you know, constantly referring to it.
At. So this is more your kind of your still watery test. So wow,
yeah,
I like that. I mean, the Fathom's a very easy casting line anyway, but you know it does kind of get a rod working.
Digs
but
it out easy
this
enough
doesn't.
there, doesn't it?
I mean.
Nice.
This is, well, you wouldn't think you were casting a sinking line with that.
No. Nice, mate. Beautiful. So, as a conclusion, maybe it's unfair for me to ask you. Oh no, it's not, is it? It's not unfair. No. I mean, improving. Is the R8 an improvement on an already great rod?
Yeah. You can't say it isn't. I mean, that's coming home with me.
We'll give John a ring.
Yeah, please. I love that. It's a phrase used far too often. It's a nice fishing rod. That's a delightful fishing rod. If you want to chuck it to the horizon, it's going to do that as well. It's chucking needle tight loops with a sinking line back into what is a pretty heavy wind, and launching it and whacking the reel and wanting another 15 yards. It's a lovely slim rod. It's very understated in its cosmetics. I'd even go so far as to say it's probably less sage than probably sage cosmetics have been of late.
Okay.
It's very understated, but I quite like that. You know, some of the more garish colours aren't everybody's cup of tea.
No,
but that is, you know, no one's going to say, I think that's an ugly rod.
No.
But performance-wise, I really have enjoyed that, and brilliant. I'm very glad I waited. But it does mean I'm going to have to explain to the missus why I want some new rod.
That's a need-to-know basis.
It's like the handbags and the shoes; they were always there.
It's what's right's right.
Jim, that's been brilliant. It's been really interesting to find out some of the tech. Obviously, you know, the techie side of stuff, you can go in as deep as you like.
Absolutely.
Or you can just pick it up and go, damn, that's a damn good fine rod.
Yeah.
And that is a damn fine rod. I've enjoyed it in the 5 weight, which is, you know, for a lot of people, a go-to size. 9.6 for a 6, becoming far more popular. For me, great still water size. I can't wait to try the others. I'm looking forward to when the salmons come out as well. But I hope you guys have enjoyed that as well.
Yeah,
Loads of useful information. The comparison between the old and the new, you know, we always say it every time. How's it going to get any better? I think that goes to show without a shadow of a doubt, it's just got better. Where it's going to go from here, we'll see in another 4 or 5 years, I guess. But
Okay,
thanks, Jim.
Thank you, mate.
We'll look at some more stuff again soon.
All right.
Keep tuned. There's more live shows coming. Hope you're enjoying the day. And yeah, let's go grab a cup of tea.
Let's do that.